C program. Okay. Once the coding is completed, that means I have written some code. It may have 5 lines, 2 lines, or 10 lines, or it may be more than 100 lines. Okay. So the program is filled up into computer. The program is filled up into computer using compiler to produce equivalent mission level language. So we already discussed compiler is a tool to convert mission level language. So the program is fed into compiler and it will convert into mission level language. So in C computation, two parts are there. What are those two parts? Compiler and linker. So these two parts are inbuilt. These two parts are playing a major role to execute a program. Let's see the steps of compilation. So source is nothing but our program. Source is nothing but our program. So compiler fed with source, that means our program, and it generates an object file. Object file is nothing but which contains mission level language, which contains zeros and ones, which can be understandable by computer. So compiler is fed with feeding with the source program, and it generates the object file. This object file goes to linker. Linker receives object file and it will generate exe file. Which can be executed by operating system. Okay, so we are writing source program. Finally we are getting executable file. Which can an operating system execute it. This exe file will go into the processor, and that processor will execute that program. Okay, so these are all the steps involved in execution. I'll see you the pictorial representation of this execution. I will show you pictorial representation. This is the representation. So for example, I have written first.c. What is the file name? First.c. I written some lines of code and I saved it as first.c. Here every file must save with .c file. For example, I have written some data in MS Word. Then how it will be? File name .doc. For example, I have written some code, some information in Excel. How it will be? Some file name .xls. Likewise, here we are writing a C program. We have to store with .c. Compiler automatically it takes as naming convention file name .c. Okay, so it will goes to compiler and it generates an object file first.obj. Object file we already discussed. Object file is nothing but which can understand by the mission, which contains zeros and ones. So it goes to linker. What is the purpose of this linker? Compiler, we know the purpose of compiler. It will convert. What is the purpose of this linker? It links the library functions. What are these library functions? The functions which are developed by Dennis Ritchie. The functions which are developed by Dennis Ritchie. We are using such predefined functions. We can call it as predefined functions. Those functions are linked with the help of linker. Those predefined functions are linked with the help of linker, and it will generate exe file. This exe file will be loaded into loader, and then finally it will execute in a system. So this is the pictorial representation of execution of a C program. We are storing with .c. It will generate a obj file. Then after exe file, this exe file will be loaded into system processor. Processor will execute that exe file. So this is the execution of C language.